morning, students. Welcome back to another sewing session, and today we'll be looking at the front seam and how to construct the front seam, right? We have gone through seam finishes already, but because we need all those samples to go in our portfolios, your portfolios, I will just demonstrate how the front seam is done, right? And we know that the front seam is an enclosed seam and is used to enclose the raw edges of a fabric within the seam, right? And front seam are constructed in two steps. The first being the wrong side is together, and second being the right side together. So that's what I'll be showing you how to do today. And all we need is our pin with our pin cushions, and we need our two pieces of fabric which is measured 5/8 of an inch, and our iron, and of course our sewing machine. And in doing the front seam, there's something you need to keep in mind. Like the front seam has the same look as the plain seam in the right side, while the wrong side has a neat seam allowance finish without overlocking, right? Students, what I'm going to do now is that I will put both pieces of fabric facing each other on the wrong side. So I will put the two wrong sides facing each other together. Students, I will mark the wrong side of the fabric with our tailor's chalk so that we can distinguish the right side different from the left side. Okay. Front seam is good for using a lightweight fabric, so it's not bulky. So after putting the wrong sides together, we are going to match up the edges together, right? And then we're just going to pin. So now, students, that we have placed our fabric with the wrong side facing each other and we have pinned, the first seam that I will be sewing will be 3/8, 1 centimeter from the raw edge here, right? So we'll go backward and forward as usual, right? And you remove the pins as you go. Backward and forward again, and there you go, your first. So you clip the thread with the scissors, and there you go, your first seam right there on the wrong side facing each other. So the first seam is so obviously I'm using a different color thread because I want you to see the seam that are being sewed. So most definitely you would use a color that is coordinated to your fabric. What you're going to do is now press the seam flat together, and this will melt the stitches in the fabric. So now I am going to press the seam flat open, and this is the right side of the fabric that is showing up at the moment. So now that I have pressed the seam, I will trim down this raw edge to 1/8 of an inch. So after the trimming, after the 1/8 trimming, then you're going to close your fabric together. So now the right side will be facing each other. And what you're going to do right now is you're going to press the seam line. So we are back to the machine for the second time, and now we're going to sew 1/4 of an inch. So here you have it. So here you have it, your second stitch, your final stitch. That is your. So we're going to press the seam flat to start. So now we're going to open up the fabric facing the right side up, and you're going to press the seam allowance to the back because it is now one seam allowance, so you're going to press that to the back. So we're going to examine inside of the fabric now to see if there's any raw edge sticking out. Because if you do encounter that problem, it's because you didn't trim down after the first seam properly, so the raw edge would be sticking out. No, we don't have that, so we're good.